Welcome today. I'm Commissioner Director Tom Arnone, and I'm joined by my fellow commissioners Eric Anderson, Ross Citra. Guys, why don't you come up here with me? Before we start, if we could start, and I'm going to ask my fellow commissioners to lead us in the pledge to start. Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless America. So as we stand here today, it's just another one of our initiatives here, along with Ross, Eric, fellow commissioners Nick Duraco and Deputy Director Sue Kiley that could not make it today, is another initiative that we have done here in Monmouth County to support our businesses and our small businesses. You know, it's extremely important, as we tout all the time, that Monmouth County is made up of many, many businesses. 95% of them are small businesses that need help to sustain and keep in up and down markets there. And that's been our goal from Grow Monmouth, Grown in Monmouth, Made in Monmouth, and soon to be our new one, which I'll touch about in a little bit, which is coming up. So we stand here today once again proclaiming this day, to start of the month of Craft Beverage Month here in March in Monmouth County, as that month here. And what it does is people say, well, what does that really mean? And I hear that all the time what is that going to do for the businesses? How is that going to help the businesses? So what we've done is put together, okay, a plan. And basically what we can do that could kind of assist you, along with our chambers, and we have representatives from our chambers here, is to just promote you. If we promote you loudly through the avenues that we can touch, that will assist you. Takes that expense off you, because obviously you need to promote your business, okay? Things are tough with that marketing side, the cost of all that. That's a, end game dollar amount, for your final numbers of how it really works. So what we've done is we put a big marketing plan together here for each and every one of our craft businesses. My fellow commissioners and I secured radio advertisements on 3 radio stations, which will air throughout the entire month. Thunder 106.3, 107.1, The Boss, 101.1, The Breeze, 94.3, The Point, The Fan, Sports Radio 101.9. We bought ad space in 3 local newspapers, The Coaster, The Co-Star, The Ocean Star, and Tap Into publications for Homedale and Colts Neck. So it's actually Colts Neck, Middletown, Hazlet, Keyport, Red Bank, Long Branch, Asbury Park, Belmar, Lake Como, Neptune, and Neptune City. As we have partnered with social media influencer Meg Things, who has more than 241,000 followers on Instagram, to promote Craft Beverage Month here in the county. So when we started off some of these initiatives early on, and it all started off with Made in Monmouth, that was what we thought was the biggest initiative to help our small businesses here. Please make sure you follow Brewed and Distilled Monmouth on Instagram and Facebook so you don't miss the exciting partnership that we have. One of the major components of our Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth program has been our website, which has a Google Map feature that highlights not only the craft beverage businesses, but all the local businesses in the surrounding area. This website won a national award in 2024, and we are proud of this tool. It continues to help our craft beverage partners and small businesses. So we kicked off Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth last year. Every year we try to pick out something that can enhance some of our small businesses. Ironically, this one here, I think, comes hand in hand, because obviously if you're coming for a craft beer or something to that effect, eventually you have to eat there. So what we are promoting this year, and we're about to kick it off in April, is Slice in Monmouth. So what our goal is, we're going to start promoting the pizza places, establishments, hopefully local with the beverage places here in the county, and try to get some sort of partnerships there. Just another way for Monmouth County to partner. And I might say, no disrespect to any other counties, we're the only county that does this. There's 21 counties. It's still amazing to me that the other counties haven't just jumped on board. But I will tell you who has jumped on board, and that's the state of New Jersey. We started Made in Monmouth. they started Made in New Jersey. We started Grown in Monmouth, they started Grown in New Jersey. We started Grow Monmouth, they started Grow Monmouth. I'm just waiting. Brewed and Distilled in New Jersey is, I'm sure, to come. And once they see Slice in Monmouth, I'm guaranteed they're going to follow that one there. So that's something that we're proud of as a team here. And it's an initiative that all 5 of us think about, along with our economic development and tourism departments and our administration and our public information. All of us buy on as a team to do that. One of the areas that Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth program focuses on to identify new markets and business opportunities. Last year, we partnered with the Monmouth County Park System to identify opportunities at Hominy Hill. Of course, we also provided space to our craft beverage makers at our Made in Monmouth events, which we'll do again this year to give the opportunity. And please, somebody shout out. I know it's in May, the beginning of May. May 3rd? Wow, that's May 3rd. I got that right there, so that's great. May 3rd is another opportunity for you to do that. Twice a year, we will have these events so you can showcase. And the biggest thing is there's no cost to it. So that's the biggest component to all this. That was the one thing that all 5 of us thought about. If we were going to do this and dive into these initiatives, they were going to be done there to give back to our businesses. And, you hear sometimes the rhetoric, oh, you guys aren't business friendly. There is nobody that can say that about Monmouth County. We are 100% business friendly, and know, quite frankly, that your success is our success. Another example is an opportunity with the Jersey Shore Partnership for their summer celebration, which is scheduled Monday, May 19th, from 5:30 to 9 o'clock at Sandy Hook. This annual gathering serves as the unofficial start of the summer, along with the Jersey Shore attracting 600 attendees, and can provide extensive promotion for your business on the Jersey Shore Partnership's website, email blast, social media platforms, and press releases. For those interested in the event, please contact the Jersey Shore Partnership. This is a huge, huge event. For anybody that has not attended this, it's out on the Hook there. It's packed. It's all business regulated, generated, and to impact our business climate. So at this time, I want to thank and I greatly appreciate Andy allowing us to be here. So before we get to our plaques, which is going to be another show of appreciation to each and every one of you there to be part of it, I'm going to call Andy up. We have a proclamation for Andy for hosting this today. Andy? I'll read this real quick. Whereas 2022, the Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners launched the Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth initiative, and whereas the county commissioners launched the program with the goal of promoting the breweries, distilleries, and wineries throughout Monmouth County. And whereas during the month of March, we seek to provide additional awareness about the craft beverage industry in Monmouth County. And whereas the Monmouth County is home to the most craft beverage businesses in the state of New Jersey, with 21 breweries, 4 distilleries, 3 wineries, and 1 meadery? Meadery, is that what it's called? Yeah. Meadery, I got that right, meadery. And I'm going to ask you what that is in a minute. Okay. And whereas we are proud to present this proclamation to Birdsmouth Beer on behalf of the members of the Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth initiative in support of the craft beverage industry in Monmouth County. Now, therefore, the Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners encourages patrons to visit Brewed and Distilled in Monmouth members by proclaiming this month, the month of March 2025, as Craft Beverage Month. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Mike? As we talk about this, we have many brewed and distilled businesses here, and we have many chambers here. So we did have a lot of responses. We're going to make sure that we get them all, but I am going to call them up here today. The ones that I think are here, and if you're not, please raise your hand. That would be Railroad Distillery, Asbury Park Distillery. Come on up here. I'm sorry. 3BR Distillery, Little Dog Brewing Company, Screaming Hill Farm Brewery, Source Brewing, Twin Lights Brewing, Beach Beat Meadry, it's you, Beach House, and I think it's Wild Dart Brewing. Did I get that right? Wild Dart Brewing. And then, of course, our chambers. If you could just come up too, because obviously you're a big support. I know we have some chamber members here. If you could come up and get into this photo.
Unlock your future at Brookdale, New Jersey's #1 community college, with access to 70 programs, competitive esports, and seamless transfer pathways to top universities. Embark on a journey where affordability meets quality. Visit brookdalecc.edu today. Unlock your future at Brookdale, New Jersey's #1 community college, with access to 70 programs, competitive esports, and seamless transfer pathways to top universities. Embark on a journey where affordability meets quality. Visit brookdalecc.edu today.
Welcome to the Veterans Corner segment of Monmouth in Focus, a program about services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Sue Kiley, Monmouth County Commissioner, and I'm the liaison to the Division of Aging, Disabilities, and Veteran Services. Today, we will be U.S. Army Colonel Peter Lupo. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
First of all, let me thank you for your service. And can you tell me what inspired you? Is there a person or a thing that inspired you to go into the military?
Yeah, I think it would have to be my grandfather, who was also Peter Lupo as well. He served in World War II, and I remember as a kid always pestering him for insights about how it was to be in combat. He served with General Patton in North Africa, and he was actually part of the invasion of Sicily and worked his way up through Italy. So I was always just fascinated how that would be. And he was an anti-aircraft artillery gunner during the war, and he served later on, captured, dealing with as an MP with captured German soldiers. So he had a really fascinating history, and I think his example inspired me to go into the military.
I can imagine it would.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm interested in hearing your story. You spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. Can you tell me your progression in your rank and how you got into Afghanistan?
Yeah, when I deployed, I was there 2018 to 2019. I was a lieutenant colonel at the time. I worked, I came in originally as a enlisted person. I came in as an E1, did basic training here in New Jersey. I lived in Manalapan here in Monmouth County at the time, so I didn't have too far of a drive to get to it. It wound up being really nicely. So I came as an E1. I progressed through the ranks to E5. I made Sergeant E5. And from there, I did ROTC and commissioned as a second lieutenant.
And when were you deployed to Afghanistan, and what was your experience like over there?
Yeah, I was deployed there in 2018 to 2019. I spent a year there. I was originally in Kabul, which was the headquarters of Resolute Support, which was the mission that I was on. It was a NATO mission. I also served up north, Afghanistan, to Mazar Sharif. So I spent the entire year throughout Afghanistan, with the exception of a 2-week R&R leave that I got to come home and spend time with my children.
I didn't think anybody got R&Rs anymore.
Yeah, it's still.
How old are your children?
My children are almost 11 and almost 13. Yeah, Vincent and Madeline.
That's great. That's great. I bet they were very glad when you came home.
They were. Yeah, it was really nice.
What was the main mission or objective for you and your team when you were in Afghanistan?
So when I was in Afghanistan, we were part of a mission called Train, Advise, and Assist. And my job was to work with the Afghan soldiers who did public affairs to teach them effectively how to be effective public affairs officers. So it was daily tutoring. So I always had to really deal with them directly to make sure they understood the concepts of public affairs, make sure they were responsive. So if there was Taliban attacks, and the Garoa, which was the government of Afghanistan at the time, were effectively dealing with the counterinsurgency operations, and were dealing with the Taliban functionally on their own. So that was my day-to-day job with the Afghan soldiers that I work with.
So you worked directly with the soldiers and trained them, so they were prepared for what?
That's correct. The idea was that that we were going to train them in all capacities. And my particular role was public affairs, and that they would be self-sufficient, that effectively they would be able to manage missions on their own without American or NATO support. That was the idea. That eventually, and I felt that in the year I was there, they were really very eager to learn. I felt that the training really helped them, assisted them, and they were prepared really effectively to do the job after the year that I spent with them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I guess it's an unusual position to be in when you're over there, but it sounds. Was there a language gap?
So we had an interpreter that was assigned to us. So I had somebody who spoke Dari, which is the language in Afghanistan, and I had an interpreter. Some of them spoke English. One of the corps commanders, the Afghan corps commander, says English was pretty good. He's actually living in the United States now. He was able to get out. He lives in Maryland. But yeah, so it would depend on the language proficiency of the person I dealt with. But typically, I always traveled with armed guards. They were called the Guardian Angels, and also with an interpreter every time I went to the Afghan base.
Great.
Yeah.
What, if I asked you what memorable experience sticks out in your mind about Afghanistan, what would you say?
Well, there are a few things that really stick to mind. I got to meet the then Secretary of Defense, Mattis,
Okay.
Mad Dog Mattis. So I got to meet him on the landing zone in Kabul. It was really interesting meeting. He was a very down-to-earth guy. I was able to do a number of things. Some were frightening, being in helicopters or being fired on, and suddenly losing altitude were definitely frightening types of factors. But one of the most warm memories I had of being in Afghanistan was Christmas Eve, going to a multi-faith church in the middle of Afghanistan, in northern Afghanistan, and having your fellow NATO soldiers with you, hearing prayers in different languages. That was definitely something you felt this great unity, being with your fellow soldier. From NATO, it'd be your American soldiers, your German soldiers, your Italian soldiers. It was just really an amazing experience in that way. So that was a positive outtake, I think, of my deployment in Afghanistan.
It sounds like it was a wonderful experience. My first thought was, I'm sorry you weren't home with your two kids.
That was definitely difficult.
That might have been also a wonderful experience. Well, we greatly, greatly appreciate your service. The sacrifices you make and your family make it should never go unnoticed. And we respect the military for that reason. How was the reaction when you came home from your different missions?
Yeah, I mean, seeing friends and family, seeing your children, they were young. At the time, they are 5 and 7 years old. So I missed kindergarten for my daughter. I missed, first grade for my son. So those were the holidays, missing milestones in their lives were very difficult, but they're very happy. And young children don't understand your parent who was there with you every single day being gone for a year. It was very difficult for them to understand, and they were not certain if I was going to stay home. So they were like, "Daddy, you going to stay home for good now?" And so I had to reassure them, yes, I'm back, and no plans of getting deployed here anytime soon. So I had to reestablish that trust and confidence in your children.
So is your son thinking he's going to follow in your footsteps? Has he said anything?
He has not said anything. We did play West Point. My son plays hockey.
Okay.
And we did play West Point, the Junior Black Knights at West Point. And I said, "Would you like to go to military academy?" He was like, "I don't think so, Dad." I don't think he's too excited for military life.
He's got another plan in mind.
Another plan, NHL player, a future plan.
Excellent.
My daughter is kind of kicking the idea around. She's going to be 11 next week. So she's kicking the idea of the military around, hopefully.
Thank you so much for your service, for coming on today, and for letting us hear your story. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's all the time we have for right now, and we'll see you on the next session.
Welcome, everyone, on this beautiful day here in Monmouth County, and I want to thank everybody for coming here. This is a great day, just another effort by the county and our great staff, as you can see behind us here, to take another initiative and expand the initiative. I'm Director Tom Arnone here from Monmouth County, and I'm joined with Ross Lasicha, Commissioner here, also of Monmouth County. On behalf of all of our commissioners here, we want to say thank you for being very creative and making changes when changes are needed, and all those changes to advance the service and the quality of life here in Monmouth County. I want to thank all the staff, obviously led by our administrator, Terry O'Connor, the director here, Matt Spedicini, and of course, all the people that have been involved in this process here. The body shop, which you could see the new work done behind us, a big part of it. Obviously, our public information. And then first and foremost, okay, and I saved them last for a reason, is because none of this happens without our employees here and our drivers here. So this is a way for us to say thank you to you back there, but more importantly, to be part of something that's going to really be positive, more efficient, more cost-saving, and enjoyable for our residents. And that last component is enjoyable for our residents here. Not everybody has the privilege of jumping in a car and going to their destination there. And how frustrating can it be when you do have to go someplace, whether it's a doctor's appointment, whatever the initiative is, and know that you have to struggle to try to find a way to get there. And so SCAT was formed over 55 years ago, providing transportation for certain qualified Monmouth County residents. And today, we are proud to announce a new era in the Division of Transportation. Today, we are unveiling Ride in Monmouth. Residents qualify for our services if they are 60 years of age or older, temporarily or permanently disabled. Of course, our veterans that we're so proud of here in Monmouth County, or 18 years of age and traveling from or going to one of our 11 rural communities, including Allentown, Colts Neck, Freehold Township, Homedale, Howell, Manalapan, Millstone, Roosevelt, Tinton Falls, Upper Freehold, and Wall. Ride in Monmouth also provides transportation services for other county programs and activities, something that's very passionate to me, that I created years ago called the SUSHI program, Suburban Urban School Healthy Initiative, where we take kids, young children, and show them the proper things and in our ag industry, and show them the proper eating habits and what it takes to grow vegetables and produce there. Ride in Monmouth provides transportation to life-sustaining treatments such as chemotherapy, radiation and dialysis, doctors and medical appointments, physical and occupational therapies, grocery stores, hair and nail salons, barbershops, the mall, pharmacies, transit centers, senior and community centers, food pantries, employment training, and much more. All services are first come, first served by availability and curb to curb. Availability for transportation Monday to Friday from 7:30 to 3:30 p.m. You can book your trip between as far as 6 months in advance, and that's key, or in as little as 48 hours, which is also key. However, we strongly encourage you to book as far in advance as possible to secure your ride. You know, as we talk about all these things that are not a necessity, but somewhat of a luxury, or not something that has to be done today, but it's something that there's a need for, and you have to get out. And when you're a senior, these smaller things and these initiatives that you have to get out to, they grow to even more of an importance to them, because that's some of the things they want to get done. And to be able to not walk out your door and have the transportation to get there is somewhat sad. And I think that's part of what government's initiative is. And then, of course, you talk about the health side. And I know we're joined here with a representative from Central State, Jim Garofalo, here, and our partnership with them and all of our other medical facilities here is huge for what Monmouth County wants to assist in. So in 2023, Ride in Monmouth was averaging nearly 20,000 rides yearly. Now, Ride in Monmouth is on pace to do over 30,000. This equates to 400 plus additional rides every month compared to last year. So think about that. That's 400 people every month that is finding a way to get to a destination that they could not get to if they didn't have this service. In addition, the county has registered over 1,000 new clients since December of 2023. The fleet consists of 21 buses and vans, all of which are handicap accessible. We are also anticipating adding 5 more vehicles over the next year. We do plan on doing an expansion through this process through here, and we're working on that right now. Monmouth County is anticipating receiving over $3 million in state and federal grants to support Ride in Monmouth service, which is a $300,000 increase from 2024. Since 2023, Ride in Monmouth increased its office staff and available drivers to better meet the needs of our residents. And that is the most important component that we're talking about today, increasing our drivers there. And without them behind us, this program doesn't exist. The services to these individuals does not exist. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you, because truly this press conference doesn't even come into play here. None of these vehicles that you see behind go into play and go assist unless there's people behind that wheel. How Ride in Monmouth serves our residents. There is now no charge for any trip medical related, including life-sustaining trips such as chemotherapy, radiation, and dialysis. No cost for veterans to travel to the various VA clinics and hospitals in Lyons, West Orange, Toms River, and Tinton Falls. The cost of all other trips to just $2 one way. And in today's gas prices, think about that. That's a huge savings. There is no limit to the amount of trips on a weekly basis, however. We do book up fast, so call in advance. In the process of updating technology and installing all new tablets, GPS equipment in the buses to provide for more accurate locations and information to the drivers in order to make the rides more efficient for the clients. Call 732-431-6480 with any questions or to book a trip. Email rideinmonmouth@visitmonmouth.com with any questions, any complaints or compliments, preferably compliments, there, or any other suggestions. As we close, I want to take a moment and again thank the Division of Transportation and the Ride in Monmouth staff members who show up to work day in and day out performing vital services for our residents. We appreciate your hard work. Also, Ride in Monmouth is now continuing to hire CDL drivers. If you are interested, go to visitmonmouth.com. Thank you for joining us today. Stay and keep a lookout for Ride in Monmouth buses. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.